Say we belong to one team and I am the boss, say. Now, I am the boss, I am the manager, senior manager of this team. Does it mean I am superior to all of you in all the areas? If I am the boss of this team, of you all, does it mean I am the boss of all of you? Not necessarily. So what do I do? First, so I see he is very good at planning. He is very good at marketing. He is very good at quality. Now, there can be two kinds of feelings. One, acha, he is better than me in planning. So if I give him an opportunity, tomorrow he will take away my chair. So I must suppress him. I should not allow him. All right, you give your suggestion, let me think. File kahan hai? Next same thing. So I can suppress all of you so that you do not challenge me. Now, there can be another aspect. I find all right, he is very good at planning, at least better than me. So let me give him more freedom so that he can give his best. Let me give him freedom so that he can give his best. He can give his best. He can give in. I allow all my subordinates to give their best. And now, say we go for record production. In an annual meeting, when our team will be awarded the prize or the trophy, who will be called to the dais to receive the award? You or me? They will call me. So, who is getting more honor? Me. And if in my speech I say, look, the credit should not go to me only, all my colleagues have worked hard and we all produced this result. The credit should not be given only to me. What will be the reaction, response of the audience? What a modest leader. We need such leaders. So who is getting benefited? In the Karma Yoga book, Swamiji's, there's one chapter. Headline is, by helping others, we get benefited. Helper is the real beneficiary. So we think, okay, Swami Vivekananda is a religious person. Religious person say like this, all nonsense. Don't agree. Now let us see who is the real beneficiary. Helper or helpee? Doctor is the helper. Patient is the helpee. But who is the real beneficiary? Between doctor and the patient? Doctor. The patient may or may not get cured, but the doctor will get his fees. Is it not? So, who is the real beneficiary? Helper. You are helping your child to school or college. There, the teachers are helping him or her. Who is the real beneficiary? Your child may or may not get first class. Even he may fail, but the teachers will get the salary. Is it not? So, now you understand. Helper is the real beneficiary. Why should we help others? Because we get benefited. There are two kinds of selfishness. One is stupid selfishness, what we see in the society. Nobody is secured, everybody is shaky. Another is enlightened selfishness. Let us come to that. First, let me know my special strength, my newness, and to start a business. Good. Next comes mom. Mom is Manushya. People, or better say in your terminology, target group. Who needs my help immediately and badly? Can I identify? Who needs my help immediately and badly? Why should I offer something new? Best marketing strategy is offer something to the people which they do not get elsewhere, or which they generally do not get from others. Best marketing strategy. So, I am cashing on the special step. One target group I am to identify. Who needs our help, my help, badly, immediately and badly. Then comes shop. Shop stands for samasya, problem. How they envisage their problem. The people, target group. What is their problem perception, not my perception. Then call or future. What should be my focus? What market image I like to build up? And then law. Law is Rath, chariot. How to reach out to my target group. This is a very simple method, namaskar, by which we can go. Now I like to show you the last transparency. After that the question answer will start. Now when we integrate all these things, how can we restructure our organization? Whatever the organization is, whether it is small SSI or MSI or large, it doesn't matter. How we can integrate all these principles? Sir. Hey. Start from here. Know your management philosophy. Vision, mission, and all these things are very good. But am I very clear with the philosophy? If I do not take care of my management philosophy, what happens? Ad hocism. I change according to the pressure of the society, and thus I fail to build up the future. Market share is important, but building up the future is no less important. So, if I take care of this, then I will have a strong conceptual base and I can integrate the system. Now, after I take care of this, come to the second. Understand your company's problem. If I do not know the company's problem, inherent weakness will be there, will remain. And if I take care of the problem may be objective, subjective, acute or emerging. Take the case of students. What is their objective problem? When, as a principal, you set the objective for your organization, education institutions. Objective problem is how to get 90 plus in the exam. Here, marks can be quantified. Subjective problem, lack of concentration. Many guardians complain, Swamiji, my child, very intelligent, but he never likes to study. So I tell them it's obvious. I don't understand how an intelligent student, a boy, a girl, can find interest in studies. Huh? How can? What they're teaching? What was the weight of dinosaurs? School, what do they teach? How many types of scorpions are available are there in the desert of South Africa? What shall I do with this? How many moons the Jupiter has? You know this, na? I also know. What shall I do with this knowledge? Children are very intelligent, they know all these are useless. So they don't find any interest. So subjective problem is lack of concentration. Acute problem, uncertain future. Even if they get first class, they don't know what happened. This is acute problem. An emerging problem, all round confusion. They keep on changing. So same thing with the company. Next, leadership, training, product innovation, quality control, etc. Next, you come to tap maximum potentials of your people. You take care of the plant capacity. What about your human capacity? If you do not take care of this, there will be less output. And if you take care, then communication gap between departments will be removed. And right when in the right place, all these things will come. Next, form a research study group. If you do not do this, then you are unaware of what is going on in other companies. If you take care, then you remain an early mover. We need not compete with others. You need not compete. Give a lead in your area. Then you come here, know the untapped areas of your profitability and growth. If I do not take care, what may happen? I remain ignorant of my special strengths and opportunities. Special strengths and opportunities means of my organism, of my company. And if I take care, then I remain unique and I can turn problems into opportunities. Treating a problem as an opportunity is very important. I remember in one company, when I was showing this OHP, there's an old model. So after some time, the bulb went off. They make filament. So the bulb went off. I asked, what happened? Later, I asked, what happened? So they told me, Swamiji, the bulb is very hot. Don't worry, after some time, it will come, light again will come. So I asked, so this is a problem. But yes, Swamiji, there's a problem. Then we asked, do you see the only problem or do you see the market potential in it? You are making filaments. Do you see the market potential? This is the thing. Our scripture says, see God in everybody. What is the meaning of seeing God in everybody? Will you see baby in your wife and going back home, oh mom? Huh? Then they will send you to asylum. What is the significance of seeing God in everybody? Everywhere. God means, as Ramanuja said, Ramanujacharya, Ashesha Kalyan Gunas. He is the embodiment of Ashesha Kalyan Guna, all positive qualities. So seeing positive quality in any situation, seeing the opportunities in a problem, is seeing God. Is one significant. Seeing God amplified. So you remain unique and you turn the problems into opportunities. Then have total involvement of the people. All right. TQM also says involve the people. TQM, what else? JIT. Thank God. JIT, we have to learn. Somebody is to come from America to teach us that whatever we should do just in time. Huh? And we feel proud of it. I have completed TQM. What your wife is doing? What she is doing? Is it not practicing JIT? Is she practicing or not? And you are going to America to learn this? Don't tell your wife, huh? Anyway, now I keep here. Instead of involving only TQM concept, it is good, but it has its limitations. Now, if a company spends money in welfare, you get deduction. Now, this money you help spend in another way. Your employees, they have unemployed brothers or grown-up daughters in the families. You help them to stand on their own feet. Instead of increasing money, their salary, their employees, which may create problems later, you use this money to help their family members. So what happens? The whole family will remain grateful to you. And even if your employees like to go for some strike, his family members will object. Now, when you do this, if you don't do this, then employees have no feeling of oneness with the company. So they take advantage. And if you take care of this, involve the whole family, then employees give their best for the growth of the group. So this is in short how we can restructure an organization. I've taken a lot of time. Now I think I should allow others to speak. Thank you. Mr. Chandrasekhar, you would like to moderate or start the ball rolling?
In Indian concept, which will be better in your opinion, sir? The switching of way to recuperate himself to come up to the next context in a better manner, or being involved and carrying a little bit of office to the home and likely to get mixed up?
What I feel, it depends. It depends in the sense, sometimes there is demand from the organization, then you work more because we are going for a very ambitious project. So there, I may have to work even after going back home. So, but if it becomes a routine, I go back home regularly with files, and even on Sundays I work, then I have some objection. Please.
I have one.
You can.
Always carry. Why I selected this? I had difficult jobs where I had to spend much more time than I could finish the work in the office. So many visitors are there, so many problems in the office. So I asked my wife and children, will you like me to sit in the office till 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock? Or you like me to come back and bring the files, also do some work here also? They said, you come to your house, bring your files and all that, and you do that also. I chose that. I think that was better, and that worked better.
Right. Yes, please.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
If I could learn these two words, the stupid selfish and enlightened selfish here. Now, carefully thinking over them, my problem is CEO and the boss are stupid selfish category. The subordinate to the boss is an enlightened selfish person. Now, the subordinate who is enlightened selfish is being constantly suppressed. Now, what this subordinates to do?
That's the main problem. I am being suppressed by others. Good. You might have noticed one sayings by Holy Mother, Sisi Ma. My child, if you like to get peace, don't find fault with others. Rather, see what is wrong with you. Good. Is it practical? Let us see. Say you are my boss. You call me to your chamber, fire me right and left. I keep mum, and then I come out, and then come out to my room. Room is my seat, and say Mr. Murthy is my colleagues. Then I start talking to him. what kind of boss he is. जो मन में आता है बोल देता, whatever it is बोल देता है. He does not understand. Now, what do I expect of my boss? That he should be kind, understanding, just, then having all the good qualities, is it not? That is what I expect of my boss. Now, is my boss a Buddha or a Christ? Huh? Neither. He is an ordinary person. And I expect him to behave extraordinarily. He should be always kind, should be always modest, should be always understanding. So who is wrong? My boss or me, myself? That is the problem. That is what Holy Mother said. See, what is wrong with you? You are expecting an ordinary person to behave extraordinarily. Understand? So, and what do I do with my subordinates? They should be hardworking, they should be obedient, they should be, I agree. But what they should be and what they are, there's difference. Take the case of Isha Upanishad, the very first sutra, sloka and the very first line, Yagattam Yagat. There are two words. One word, the real word, where this microphone is, which is, you are there, I am there. This real word. Another word, I create. Out of my likes and dislikes, my wishes, ambitions, my past experience, I create another world. And when there's a clash between these two words, problem starts. So, can I remove that and face the reality as it is? My boss is an ordinary person, means as a human being. He's an ordinary person. His blood also sometimes boils, like me. My subordinates, they are also common human people, human beings. They behave like this. Why I break my head? So understand, I am trying to change them. Okay, they must change.
Specific. Management is culture specific.
Huh.
And therefore, we really have to understand Indian culture and integrate our management practices with the Indian culture is quite unobjectionable. I think that's quite accepted the world over, that management practices have to be rooted in the specific culture of the country or of the region. The problem is with finding a uniquely Indian management style or Indian management philosophy is the fact that Indian culture as it is today is not homogeneous. We are less homogeneous as a country than, say, Japan, kind of a thing. There are various strands and the various influences. Therefore, one really has to understand which particular Indian culture we are talking about. For example, some of the things that you have mentioned as characteristics of Indians, I would find not existing in some layer or the other of Indian society. That is one point I want to make. Therefore, before we talk about Indian culture, unique Indian management style, we have to understand what is the Indian culture we are talking about. Personally, I find tremendous diversity, tremendous contradictions. Really nothing unique which you can call as Indian culture as it is today, number one. Number two, there are many successful business houses in India which instinctively have followed certain existing Indian practices in society and have become successful. But unfortunately, those practices and those philosophies are not something which any civilized Indian would accept as worth following. For example, the caste system is something which is very rooted, and successful politicians as well as business people have exploited the caste system, have been successful in their endeavors, but I think not to the success of society, not to the good of society. So really, before we talk about basing our management practices on Indian culture or Indian society, we need to look at what are the good and bad points of society. I mean, those managements which base their practices on the bad points of society may be successful for a while, but I think they will jeopardize the future of the country.
I am coming. Please, like to contribute?
May I sit and talk? I'd first of all like to take the point mentioned by my friend there. He says that in the West, after a 5-day week, managers would like to go off somewhere and let their hair down. And I felt that ultimately what reactions emanated from his point. Probably did not lay the ghost to rest. I feel that there is nothing wrong in forgetting about the office once you leave it at the end of the 5-day week on Friday and go somewhere. There is nothing wrong in taking your work home. It is a matter which need not be viewed rigidly. It is a matter which has to be seen according to the situation. Bhogam by itself is not wrong. Bhoga lalasa is wrong. If in the West, purely for sensory pleasures and purely for sensory experiences as an end in themselves, and work as giving the means for sensory experiences as ends in themselves, they take off at the end of 5 days and then go away 300 kilometers for bhoga lalasa. That is wrong. Bhogam by itself, there is Ardha and Kama. These two are part of the Chaturveda Purusharthas. By themselves, they have not been condemned in our culture. That is my response to my friend there. Another friend here made a point about the stupid self and the enlightened self. The stupid self can be characterized by the small s, selfish. And there is no hyphen between self and ish. It is one continuum. Small self, small s, small e, small l, small f, small I, s and h. He is selfish. The enlightened self is characterized by capital S. And he is a self as the Atman. Self-ish. He is self-ish. Forever he is attuned inward. While externally he is doing his duty, he is forever attuned inward to the inner journey for inner evolution and ultimate self-fulfillment. So enlightened self is that man who is capital S, self-ish. The stupid self-ish is simply selfish. That is my reaction to my friend there. As far as my friend here is concerned, he has made a point about the culture as it exists today. The culture as it exists today is anything but the pristine Indian culture as it had existed long ago, as its exponents like Lord Krishna and others had delineated it beautifully, as case law of that culture exists in our Puranas, shorn of all poetic imagery, etc. That culture is no longer existing today. It has come under 1000 years of foreign rule, and it has gone into all kinds of perversions. It has also gone underground. It has been lost, much of it. So the culture as it exists today, I feel, is not our pure original culture. And secondly, when we talk of success, I think success is a word which is not in our cultural lexicon. Do your duty. So long as you do your duty, then whether it is Vijayam or Veeraswargam, so long as you do your duty, even Nidhanam is conducive to Shreyas. So culture is not part of our lexicon. Thank you.
Now one thing, what we presented is based on survey. So whether we have a homogeneous, heterogeneous culture, if anybody says that heterogeneous, I like to know the base. Because if one says it's just my perception, I'm not, because it is not scientific approach. And another thing, this IEM is not just a theory. We are applying, I am applying, Mr. Pandit is applying, Dr. Atre is applying throughout the country. We have now the same principles. In Bihar, it applies in Bihar, it applies in Bombay. Recently, Mr. Pandit made a miracle, turned a company at Jalandhar from 2 crores to 12 crores in just 3 months. The same principles based. Same in Mysore, Bijoy West. So this culture specific still stands strong, still holds. And what we discuss as characteristics, and these are based on surveys. So we are yet to, I am ready to accept any other view if it is based on such survey, which is called scientific investigation.
Can we involve the other crowd?
Yes, you're right. Right. I have already Mr. Roboji is.
Swamiji, single values which play a major role in our own culture, if they creep into the Indian style of management, it would certainly contribute better. That was what you were saying, Swamiji, if I have heard you right? Now, with regard to ethical values, I think when we talk of ethics, we go a little beyond business law. It comes to subjectivity like morality. Now, in such a situation, I'll give an example, and I would like you to tell me how ethics could have made this company earn more money. Forget about the social objective for the time being, since you said that it would improve performance of the company. Now, here is a company which invents a drug. If not the original invention, at least the process. And it finds there is no competitor in the country. Prices it a little bit higher than it could have done it. And earns more money. Within 2-3 years, there is competition. Others also make the drug and the prices fall. Do you treat this as violation of ethics, or do you treat this as a performance-based decision?
Very tricky question. My last question.
Swamiji, I thought the question is really so big and profound that we should leave it for a while and discuss it separately. Yeah. Okay, it will take to a longer discussion. I'm afraid it would. Okay, yes or no kind of an answer? Fair. Then Swamiji, your choice.
No, I have to, because you have to manage, no?
Yeah.
We can meet again in 2 more days.
Well, I leave it to you. So I really now request Dr. Atreya to speak on the theme. Dr. Atreya, please.
The Indian ethos, this particular subject, has been discussed in a number of platforms as of today. It is becoming almost a fashion now. And therefore, I would like to emphasize and sort of focus on just one dimension for the next 20 minutes or about. And before I do, I want to thank the organizers for giving me the privilege of listening to Swami Ranganathananda. Every time I listen to him, I believe every time you listen to him, you feel taller. You feel more energized. You feel more of a person. You feel more of a divine. As I see it, there are 2 important aspects of Indian ethos and excellence in management. In excellence in management, as far as the West is concerned, the emphasis is on human dignity. The Indian ethos, the emphasis on human divinity. The human dignity is very important. After all, in 1983, when Tom Peters wrote the book In Search of Excellence, what he found was companies that have been succeeding consistently over a period, there were a few common features. One of the common features was the concern for the customer. And if the customer is to be satisfied, there is only one way, and that is to satisfy the customer, and therefore you need constant innovation. Whether it is the concern for the customer or for the constant need for innovation, the only way to do it is to have the concern for the person who is within the company, the concern for the internal customer. But all of which only confined himself to human dignity, important as it is. But can we go beyond it? I think this is where the Indian ethos makes a special contribution. The Indian ethos, once it comes into practice, as against in spirit, as against in theory, as against in principle, then it develops a lot of vitality. And if vitality is important, 2 important aspects come in. The first is the energy part of it, and the other is the creativity part of it. Because all other things will come provided we have got energy and creativity. I have found 2 methods, and I would like to share those methods with you. 1967, Swami Ranganathananda gave a talk in Bombay on human excellence. Technical excellence we have heard about, and economic excellence we have heard about. But he went much beyond, namely the economic excellence, the human excellence. Who should be excellent in an organization? The chairman of the company or the chaprasi of the company? Who should be excellent? In other words, is there any option for anybody being non-excellent? As John Gardner once pointed out, if the plumber is not excellent, the pipes will be leaking. And if the philosophies are not excellent, the countries will be leaking. In other words, whether you are the philosopher or whether you are the plumber, you have to be excellent. In other words, there is no option. There is no option. Everybody has to be excellent. If everybody has to be excellent, what is some other thing that could be done? Swamiji made a few points, and I would like to recall some of them, and I would like to build on them. The first point that he made was the pursuit of excellence become possible only when you got a concern for others within quotes. The beauty about Indian ethos is there are no others. God is with you and God is within you. In God is with me and God is within me, the God is with you and God is within you. In other words, it is in all of us. The moment we take this particular aspect, there is no question of others, and therefore the problem of others arises because of the incomplete, the Western concept. The Eastern concept, the ethical concept, the Sanatanic concept, the Vedantic concept emphasizes that you are not different from me. And therefore the first point that he made was the concern for others. Those who don't have concern for others cannot be excellent. Therefore, if you see anybody who is pursuing excellence, you find that the person has got a great concern for others. Whether he is the sort of shoe-shine person, or whether maybe he is the greatest scientist, the solar scientist maybe. The second point that he made was, suppose you want to pursue excellence, and there is plenty of excellence in this country. He said second thing is the hardiness of spirit. Excellence becomes possible only when you've got hardiness of spirit. Ordinary people cannot have excellence. But at the same time, the Indian ethos emphasizes nobody is ordinary. Amritasya putraha. What statement? The person has been referred to as Amritasya putraha. The term, he is not called. For example, Panduranga Shastri Athavale, about whom Mr. Pandit will be able to say much more. All the people used to say, whenever there is a fisher people, he said Samudra Putra. The moment you call them Samudra Putra, immediately the dignity goes up. And therefore, the second thing that happens in the case of the Indian ethos is this, namely, the hardiness spirit becomes necessary. And it is possible once we marry Indian ethos to the Western concept. This is the second one that he pointed out. The third point Swami Ranganathananda made when he talked of human excellence is, anybody who is in pursuing excellence, and there are so many people pursuing excellence, you find a third element. And the third element is, it is always the greater and greater. Mahato Mahiyan, always greater than the great. Anybody who is pursuing excellence, and all of us have seen people pursuing excellence, you will find one thing in them, it is always, if you see them today, if you see them tomorrow, they are doing better. Again, referring to Indian ethos, all that the Indian ethos says is, man is dynamic. And if a man is dynamic, the opposite is man is not static. And what is dynamic? The dynamic is becoming better and better and better, whatever you are. These are the three elements that he pointed out. Now, if you look at it, what is it that you and I can do? After all, fortunately, we know excellence in management. We are practicing excellence in management. Some master CEOs are over here, and they have grown the organization, they have grown the society, they have done everything. Why are we here? We are here not because we want to learn a thing or two, but we want to make it into a movement. And if we want to make it a movement, we can do it only collectively. And therefore, as I say it, the purpose of this workshop is not to learn a trick or two. It is to make it a movement, to do it collectively. If you want to do it collectively, I see there are 4 steps that are necessary. The first step that is necessary to look for excellence. Why should you look for excellence? You should look for excellence for the simple reason, if at all you want to have excellence, you require energy, you require Chaitanya. And Chaitanya becomes possible when you look for excellence. Every time you see somebody excellent in any field, if you look at him, if you observe him, and secondly, if you talk about him, if you think about him, your energy goes up. And therefore, the first thing is look for excellence. And unfortunately, our newspaper tells you not to look for excellence. It has conditioned us. It has brainwashed us as if we can only look for non-excellence. And what is news? Either it should be bad or mad or sad. If it is not, it's not news. Therefore, if you look at the newspaper from page to page, you don't find one column. An occasional column you will certainly find. You don't find regular columns on excellence. I was told how far it is true, I do not know. A Stanford watcher, a Stanford Research Institute watcher of Japan, the Japan watcher, he told me he was in 12 years. Fortunately, when I was doing some work for the Administrative Reforms Commission, I had an opportunity to spend 1.5 hours with him. He was good enough for the simple reason, whenever you do anything for the country, you are supposed to go to 7 countries, and in 7 countries you are supposed to master everything and also bring it over to the country. Fortunately, I met this man. And he was telling me one story, a remarkable story. He was telling me how Japan became excellent, at least in some areas, probably in many areas. It appears one day, some years back, They decided. Who did they? The editors of the Japanese newspapers decided. On page 1 and the first page and the last page, they will publish stories of excellence. On page 1, on the first page and the last page, they will publish stories of excellence. And for how long? For 1 long year. Just to visualize somebody, one person, just one newspaper doing it in this country, what a difference it will make. The moment you read the story, you will feel good. Because you feel you belong to your country, you belong to your society, you belong to your history, you belong to a stage when you are in the process of joining as a pilgrim of excellence. Now, this becomes possible only when you look for excellence. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But the moment you look for excellence, there is plenty of excellence going around in this country. There is plenty. In the school you find excellence, in police you find excellence, in the post office you find excellence, in banks you find excellence every place. But the only thing is, we have to retrain the eye. We have to retrain that for not for any other reason, for our own reason. And the reason is we need energy. If you want excellence in management, we require energy. And one simple way, the most inexpensive way of having energy is to look for excellence. Moment we look for excellence, I think the second step that we have to take is, having looked for excellence, the second thing that we have to do is, we have to talk about excellence. Because the moment we see excellence, immediately the doubt comes, well, he has done only once. Maybe it is a fluke. Maybe it is a chance. In other words, the tendency is to decry it. The temptation is to decry it. The temptation is not to celebrate it. The temptation is not to play it up. But on the other hand, suppose we make it a point to just to go to other people and talk about this one. If you talk about this one, I think it immediately, the other people say, maybe there is another option in this world. Most people think going down is the only option. Constantly going up is not another option. As if it is an impossible thing, it can happen only in another country. But the moment you talk to especially young people, it makes another one, namely, when we talk about it, it energizes us, it energizes the people who are outside. In other words, we are able to energize the atmosphere. I think this is the second thing that I find very useful, essentially in terms of energy. And the third, and I understand many of us are in charge of an organization. The third thing that you could possibly do, and I believe it is not very difficult to do, and it can make a tremendous difference if you do it, and that is to encourage excellence. Now, what do I mean by encourage excellence? What I mean by encouraging excellence is just a word, and preferably a note. Because all of us have got first-class letterheads. And some of our letters make a tremendous difference for the person who receives it. If you just take one particular note and write to him, you did this job, you did an excellent job, at least I saw it as excellent, and God bless you. Suppose this particular note to go to him, what will you do, you think? Do you think he will throw it away? Or do you think he will do something else? This particular note, he will preserve it. And every time he loses courage, he will look at it. But somehow in our country, we have become conscious as far as saying a nice word about people are concerned, especially in writing. Because we think someday they will take it as a quote against us. Several years back, way back in the year 1939, when I was at college, an incident happened to me. Because it is an incident I am not able to forget, I want to share with you, and it got a point. The point was, there was a drama. It's a Sanskrit drama. And I was not invited, but I went in, because those are days when you can walk in. I went in. When I went in, this man was doing a glorious job. Those were days when men were playing the heroine's parts. This was Mrishakatika. That was the drama that was going on. At the end of it, I enjoyed it. I came to my room, and I took a postcard, and I did not know name of the person. Therefore, I wrote, so and so, who played the part, the person who played the part of the heroine. I don't know the address, either of the Sanskrit college, or of the people who organized it, or care of the theatre. I sent it along, and I felt good about it, and I left it as it is. That's what it was. A week thereafter, at about 6:30 one evening, one young man knocked at my door. I was in a hostel. He came, is this person here? I said, I happen to be that person. Believe me, at that moment he would not speak, All of us have heard about Ananda Bashpa, and that day I experienced Ananda Bashpa. He could not say anything at all. I asked him why. He said, nobody told me anything about my performance. Not one. So many people were there. Surely so many people appreciated, but not one did that one. And that day, though it happened long back, when I heard Swami Ranganathananda, I found one thing in which we happen to be confused is in celebrating persons who are performing, persons who are doing excellent work. That is why probably a poet once said, Vachanekam Daridrata, he said. Applauding every other aspect you have Daridrata. Very, very understandable. These days of high inflation. But why in Vachana? Is it possible to say that one? And all of us have heard nice words. They are still ringing in our ears. Suppose we can do these two. If we can do these three steps. Look for excellence, identify aspects of excellence, and just acknowledge excellence. And probably one more step we can do, I don't know whether it is possible. I understand many of us are in charge of organization. The fourth step that we can do is celebrate excellence. Celebrate excellence. Whenever anybody has done a wonderful job, and so many people are doing a wonderful job, and so many people are doing a wonderful job every day, if we can get them in a public recognition, acknowledgement, I would not call it, I would call it a salute. General Karyappa once said in one of the meetings, every day I get up in the morning, I give 3 salutes. One to my mother, the other to my father, and he said 4 salutes, and the third to the Javans that are fighting in this country, and the fourth, the unnamed people in this country who are the real soldiers of the country. The same way I feel, if we salute them in public, if we salute them, everybody sees, maybe, there is a point in pursuing excellence in whatever we do. It's not what we do. A few years back, I met a master. I asked him, sir, I am aging, what would I be doing? He told me, Atreya, it's not what you do that matters, it is how you do that matters. It's not what you do that matters, it is role excellence. It is role excellence. Whatever the current role is, are you playing it excellently? And if you're playing it excellently, you are living the Indian ethos spirit. And that is what he pointed out. But at the same time, human as we are, whenever we celebrate, at least it counters the feeling, the prevailing feeling that in this country and excellence do not go together. There is a belief. I believe this belief has to go because this belief is not tenable. Thousands of people are doing it. If we can do this, we can do one more step. Today people talk in terms of benchmarking. The benchmarking is a term that has been coined in the West. Just because it has been coined in the West, we need not throw it out. There are rishis not only in this country, there are rishis elsewhere also. There are earlier rishis, there are modern rishis. Only we had a larger share of rishis, probably of a greater order. That is that we had. That is our heritage. But the fifth step that we can take is this one, to analyze and study and synthesize excellence. If we can synthesize excellence, I think that is where the research is called for. If we can synthesize excellence, what do these people do? What do these people do? If these people do, what are the principles? What are the values? What are the aspirations? What are the wisdom that is behind them? In the West, they score in 3 areas. Number one, in the area of knowledge, in the area of skill, in the area of work culture. In those 3 areas they score. But in 3 areas we have scored, and we can score because it is our heritage, the country's heritage. That is number 1, aspiration, number 2, values, number 3, wisdom. These are the 3 areas we can score. But then it is one thing to talk in terms of we can score, but at the same time we should also find out who are scoring. How are they scoring? Is it possible to find out? And if one man can do it, another man can do it. If one man can do it in one time, another man can do it. This is what I learned from Sardarjis. You know, the Sardarjis are very interesting people. Many of them who have started their own workshops, fortunately they are not engineers, qualified engineers I mean. There's nothing wrong in being a qualified engineer, but if they have been a qualified engineer, they are not likely to do something. I'll tell you why. Whenever you take them any part, you know, there are many parts that are not available today. There is what is called built-in obsolescence. Therefore, anything that you find, you won't find it after 3 years. parts, etc. Therefore, you go to your Sardarji. The first question that I ask is, did man make it or God make it? That's all that the question he asked. If one man can make it, I can make it. Now, that is his whole approach. Now, if this is true, if one person can pursue excellence as a taxi driver, I believe it is possible for every person to observe as a taxi driver. But the whole question is, some of us, in an